So the problem was that she considers herself to be bisexual. So that right there is a problem for me. Well, I had questions. So I had to ask my son many questions. And one of those questions was, how does she know that that's what she is? Has she ever had an experience with another young lady that would give her that assumption or that idea that that's what she is or that's what she's going for? No. Then I found out that this isn't the only one that's suffering with this frame of mind, which is very, very, very scary for me to an extent. But my son handled it quite well. See, this is something that she's talked to him about for a very long time. And it's been something on his heart for a minute that he's been wanting to express, but he's been sitting back and watching. He's sitting back and watching the things that she does, how she reacts to how he feels. My son is very opinionated. Let me tell you, my son is not, I'm not going to say he's a Bible thumper, but I can tell you, my son can preach to you. He can bring the word to you. You can tell him something off and it'll jar him. And if your spirit ain't right and your heart ain't right, he will turn around and walk away from it. Taught my son very well about being a leader and not being a follower. Totally opposite of what, well, I can't say I wasn't a leader. There were a lot of things I was a leader in. He's a bigger leader than I was. But that's what I want for him. I want him to be a bigger leader than his dad ever was. Both of us, both dads and his mom. I want all my kids to succeed over me. You should always want that. That's very important, to have your kids succeed over you and be something more. Not to buy you something at the end of it so you can feel proud as a parent because you had a part in molding that child where they needed to go. And children need molding. Don't think they don't. I know a lot of them run around here in the St. Louis area, need their ass whooped, but at the same time, they need somebody to show them, and they don't have anybody to show them. They don't have anybody to protect them the right way. You think their parents is gonna protect them? They'll probably try to protect them from a cop, but they ain't gonna protect them from life and the things that are going on. I learned something. I learned something about life. I learned something about just watching and listening through things through history, and how we as black people, people of color, people of African descent from that time, how the things have affected life and time. And there's a lot of healing that's still going on, and it's a lot of healing within. So with the healing that I'm experiencing, I'm gonna make sure that my son knows and grows, and I allow my son to have the experiences that he needs to have, as long as they're safe. Safe experiences are okay. You gotta let your kids have that, because if you don't, they will rebel, and they will make themselves have the experience that they want to have, regardless if you want them to have it or not. And I know that. I respect that. I understand that. So, I say so a lot. I do that on the other podcast. Everything's so. Well, my son, like I had said, he cut it off. There were many reasons why. One was a whining reason. The other one was just her head's not where his head is, and his heart is in God. His mind is in God. His body is in God. It belongs to God. He knows that. He's reaching to have more for himself. And so he's shooting for that. He's doing that. He's making those steps, and he doesn't need and won't allow something else to come in and take that time that he's having, not to just experience himself, but experience himself through God. His heart is in the right place. Where was my heart my freshman year? I was embarrassed my freshman year. I dealt with a situation that I didn't like. It scared me, and I had to try to pretend to be tough or be something that I want. I wish I could go back and fit and just buck myself up a little bit and let myself know that it's all right. It's all right. But I came to my high school, and that's even for friends that don't know. There are a couple people that know. One in particular that knows. I was suicidal. I didn't want to be here. I had no wishes to be here. I felt out of place. I felt like I had to do too much to fit in, and I didn't want to fit in. I didn't want to do any of that. I felt like an alien. Sometimes I still feel like an alien, but it's a lot better than what it was before. Because there were times where I was actually trying to take myself out, and actually I didn't care about my life or others. I didn't. It took me a while. It took me actually losing people to realize what I was doing to myself. I lost good friends. And then I lost people that I thought were good friends, but they really weren't. Or maybe they were good friends, but they just had enough of me and the bullshit that I was doing. And that's not fair for your friends. That's not fair to do that to your friends. Especially when they allow you to live in their house. Especially when they stick their necks out for you. It's not. I burned a couple bridges growing up, but I realized that was wrong, and that's just not what we do. We don't burn bridges. We keep going. Fix those bridges, bend those bridges, mend those bridges, not bend those bridges, mend those bridges. So you might need that at a later time, or you might have to come back to reimburse or help that person out in their time of need. You know, because they opened their heart and their home and everything else up to you. And that's what I had wished I could have done. Man. Going back. That's why it's important to use common sense. Because common sense will tell you that you can't change nothing, but you can make it better. And I realized that my son is using common sense because he's realizing now that I'm gonna try to do the things that I want to do, but it's not gonna get better without God being ahead of it. So I can't have these things that I want because now I'm seeing that the things that I want, I don't really want it like that, and what I'm getting is not what it's not what I want, what I need. I have so many things to focus on, and I have to step back and focus on this and this and that, and I don't need that. My relationship with this young lady is getting stronger to an extent until I hear that she likes other girls. So what's that gonna do for me? How am I gonna live when I get older with this person? Is she gonna teach our children that that's the life to live, to be bisexual? And I know somebody out there is like, well, you let your children be whatever they want to be. That's true to an extent. You let your children be whatever they want to be, but if you're a believer, and you can fight with me all you want about this, I'm not here to argue with anyone. I won't. I believe what I believe, and that's just the way it is. Man is for woman, and woman is for man. My son didn't want the young lady because that young lady, when he gets older and he wants to have a life and have a future, is that future going to be validated through God? Is that young lady going to see that I can't have kids with this woman, because if I do, she's gonna lead them to a portal of hell slowly. That's important. That's weird that a child is on that brain level as a freshman, but my son is very smart, very intelligent. I really appreciate him and I really love him, and I really want what's best for him. And what's so awesome about this whole thing is he's a listener. He loves his dad. Talking about me, he listens. I'm not the most perfect person in the world, but he knows what to take in and what not to take in. I show him that because I'm going to be me. God is still working on me. There's things in my life that I have to change, but I have to change those for myself. And that's the decision that I have to make. And I have a great support system, my wife, and same support system that he has, and more, because I have my side of the family, same thing. But that's in my time, and I'm taking care of that. And I'm pretty proud of myself. I've come a long way. I still haven't fixed the problems that I dealt with when I was younger, at a younger time. But well, I actually have tried, but they've turned, some of them was turned negative, and some of them just haven't turned it off. So a lot of things I've had to grow up and deal with, I just had to handle those situations and say, hey, just take it outright. I didn't grow up like my son is growing up. I grew up different, and so I didn't have those support systems like I needed, because my family had things that they were going through, and it was weird. And there were a lot of family members that I was so embarrassed of the things that was going on in my house, the abuse, that I didn't want to be around my family. I didn't want them to know. That shit leaked out in my high school world. I had friends that have seen the things that I went through growing up, and that was really messed up. But I promised myself that I wouldn't put my children through that, what I went through. I promised myself that I would be a lot stronger, and I would point them in the right direction. I promised myself whatever was going on in my life, even if my life was meant to burn in hell, I'm gonna make sure my children don't. I promised myself that the things that I can forgive myself for, but that other person can't forgive me for, I'm not gonna let that stop me from stopping my children and other people that want to be saved. That's very important for me, not to get me anywhere, not to get me greater with God or anything like that, just because I feel like I deserve that. Well, let me change that. I feel like I don't deserve it. I feel like I don't know how to work harder to get it. What's the next step in sacrifice to get there, to get where my son is right now? Because spiritually, my son is greater than me. Spiritually, my daughter, my precious little 3, about to be 4 tomorrow, her spirituality is stronger than mine. Their hearts for it is bigger than mine. Is it because we've been here a lot longer? So we think we know what to expect, what's going on in life, when we really don't know. But those are just those things, God shows you. You don't have to wait for that sign. And what I see in this situation with my son is that he always stayed in a book. He always stayed in a prayer. He always stayed in the word. He'd always come to me with certain verses dealing with certain things. And they all would be answers to certain things that I felt like he needed to know right now at that time before he made the decision to leave the young lady alone. And those were the reasons why. He felt like he needed to focus on himself, and he couldn't be with someone who wasn't who's misidentified. And I know somebody's like, what do you mean misidentified? She identified herself as that. God doesn't create bisexual people. God creates men and women. You make that choice. You made that choice. I was growing up, the girls that would join basketball team or the volleyball team or whatever, and they would say that such and such turned them out. She didn't turn you out. None of them girls turned you out. You made that decision. You made that decision. You made that choice. You could have got dressed and left, but you didn't. If something happened where you were violated, then you should have let the gym teacher know or somebody, principal, but you didn't. You made that decision. It's a decision. And I want people to understand that. I stand by that. It's a decision. It's a decision that you make. My son made a decision that he's not going to be with someone who's going to make that decision, that they want to change their lifestyle and have not experienced a damn thing in life yet. Nothing. That's scary. We have our kids out here in this world and they haven't experienced anything, but they can try to identify with gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, whatever sexuals. My son told me something else that was a little jarring. I think I said this, but I don't remember. And I knew this because I worked there before, the school he goes to. He said, there are a lot of people up there that are like that. So like what? They claim to be bisexual. I said, I don't understand that. How? How do they claim that? How can they claim that? Have they ever had those experiences that would bring them to come to that decision? Something that would bring them or jar them to that decision? No. He said, as a matter of fact, some of them, they weren't even like that when you first met them, when you talk to them, you hang out with them and stuff, then they get with another one. And then that's what changed the other one. I said, all right, well, I'm confused now because I'm not comfortable with this situation because my kids are going to this school, and I know some of the kids that are so-called a part of that community, and I pointed them out. And if you know the school is not supposed to be for that. They're supposed to educate Christian values. And so my question was, that's a part of a Christian value. Where is the home economics part? Because in home ec talks about life. Home even brings up marriage and stuff. And I feel like home ec is important for children because it not only teaches them how to cook, clean, wipe their asses, but if you add some Christianity stuff in there, then you can also teach them about a marriage being between a man and a woman. These are Christian values. Okay? Christian values. But as a matter of fact, not only Christian values, these are values of Muslim values. And speaking on that, I just have to add, I had a thought about, um, those values. Go with me real quick. Not that I'm talking about like Christianity and Muslim. So you have the Christians; they believe in God, Jesus Christ, and Yahweh. I think the Muslims believe in Yahweh, Muhammad, and Allah, which is God, Muhammad, which is like the prophet, like Jesus. So on one part, they believe, well, the Muslims believe that Jesus is not the Son of God, and the Christians believe that you only follow the Bible, you don't follow the Quran. And you look at these things and they're almost similar, but then they're far apart. Okay, let me get to my point. Deception. I thought about this. What if, and I said this, and this is people like, yeah, duh, you just said this. But no, I'm saying it so for you to think about it. What if God is Allah? What if Jesus is Muhammad? The devil is a lie. The devil is very tricky. He will trick you. He will trick you. He will trick you. He will trick you. I say that again because here's a history lesson. So they fight over a land that has been occupied by Muslims for a very long time. Christians and Muslims fight over a certain part of land in the Middle East, and it was owned by the Muslims. Okay, there was a time where they worked together, and something devilish happened in someone's soul, and they felt like they needed to take it over in the name of Christianity. I didn't say Christianity was bad. I didn't say being a Muslim was bad. What I'm saying is, somewhere in between there, someone was fooled by the devil. Because God is Allah. Or Yahweh. So is Jesus Muhammad? Huh? I'm just saying. Okay, so Jesus had his 7 followers. Who did Allah have? Muhammad had. Okay. I'd go into this, but I'm not going to go into this. I'm just throwing this out for you to know that I think that in this world, we're all having this spiritual warfare for nothing. And we just need to believe in God and move forward in God. Whether you believe in the Quran or whether you believe in the Bible, they both believe and both tell you and explain in full detail what hell is like. And if you don't want to experience hell in a way that is very descriptive and very much parts of several actual books, then you need to fix yourself, change your life, make a decision that you should have made a long time ago. Don't forget also, sometimes we live for things that our family has done, our mothers' mothers, or dads, our dads' dads, brothers, sisters, that legacy. Time to strip that legacy if it's toxic and not good for you. You know? Like it's important for us to strip ourselves of the toxic past if it's toxic. Well, you know I'm coming to an end. Next week it's going to be something interesting. So I hope that you're prepared, because I've been preparing this for a while, but I figured since I haven't been on here for a while, let me come out so you guys can get a feel of where I'm at. Also, I noticed something. I lost some people. Not like that. Not fans. I had people that were in full support of me until they started hearing the content, because they believe a certain way and I believe a certain way. And I just wanted to tell you, if you're still listening out there, just because you're not interested in it doesn't mean someone else is. And this is just one episode that you might not like, but there are several other ones on there. So give that a chance. Also, if you have any comments, anything that you would like to say, any certain topics or anything that you want me to speak on, hey, check this out. Go on Facebook and pull up That Doesn't Make Sense and leave me all the compliments you want. All the comments you want, say whatever you want to say. Also, you can email me at tdmspodcast33@gmail.com. That's tdmspodcast33@gmail.com. Also, you can catch me on Sneaking Into Movies at gmail.com also. And don't forget to check out Sneaking Into Movies. Man, we've been going for a while with Sneaking, and we're loving where we're being taken and where we're taking you guys. And can't wait to bring out some more content for you. And hopefully, you guys like, subscribe, and pass it on to someone else. That's what it's all about. Also, I like to do this at this time. I like to give my shots out. So, Malik Jones, Prosper Podcast. Check him out at Prosper Podcast everywhere they streaming Prosper Podcast. Everywhere they streaming podcasts, that's where you can catch my boy Holden Court. Big Court is Big Court is the lieutenant in the No Limit Army. He's been with Master P for a very long time. He's a Kansas City native. Holden Court is a podcast where Mr. Courtney Robinson talks and interviews with some of the classics, underground classics too. That's what I like about him. It's like he's not just going after any artist. There are artists that he's going after that people really want to hear from. And that's what Holden Court is about. Holden Court Podcast. Also, if you're looking for a great clothing line, some good clothes, Number Runners. I'm wearing my t-shirt right now. And I'm not sure. I haven't seen for a while if he got them shoes, but he was working on shoes. He's got jackets. Oh man, he's blowing up. My boy is blowing up in Number Runners. If you're in a podcast, another podcast is Hip Hop IQ. Hip Hop IQ has my boy Royce K and the owner of Number Runners. They are actually and a couple other people, and they talk about hip hop news, more of an underground hip hop news. Royce Krispies, baby. Royce Krispies on YouTube. Check Royce Krispies out. He's hilarious. He does interviews also with other artists, because there are a lot of people out here in the music business we just don't know anything about. So he's bringing them out there. And if you like music and you want to hear some new things, go ahead, hook up into Royce Krispies, Royce TV, YouTube. Check it out. My name is Michael Porter. That Doesn't Make Sense. And I'm out.